After my mom, Grandmaster Pia Cramling, beat Gothamchess, or International Master Levy Rozman, in day number 1, she was playing him now with the white pieces in round 2 of their match. And this was going to be a classical game. They're playing in total 4 classical games in this match, and then 6 rapid and 12 blitz games, so it's going to be a long match. But she had the white pieces, and she was very excited for this game, and after a little bit of waiting, the arbiter started the clock, they shook hands, and she played the move 1d4. Now, this is a move that my mom is very characterized by, and it's honestly also the reason I play 1d4. She taught me that, and I love playing it. So, Levy replied with d5, and she went knight f3, he played knight f6, and she went c4. Now, this is a queen's gambit. Now, both of the players had played really fast all of these moves, and Levy ended up playing e6, defending his pawn, meaning that this was a queen's gambit declined. Now, my mom went knight c3, she brought up both of her knights, and Levy did now this little move, a6, which looks like a little funny move maybe, but it's actually it started to become a very common move here because strong players such as Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, they've played this move. So even though it's a bit of a sideline, it's becoming a lot more popular, and I think Levy a lot of times likes to play these sort of moves. And honestly, I like this with black too. The idea is very simple. Black wants to take this pawn on c4, and then they want to go b5 and protect it and stay a pawn up and just get a queenside majority and just get, you know, all the pawns over here. So, wait, am I about to sneeze? No. Okay, I'm not. Okay, so here my mom decided to take the pawn on d5 because she has to make a choice. Like, she can't really let him capture the pawn. So either she can go c5, or she can play e3 and defend the pawn, or she can take here. And I love taking. I had someone that played this against me at the Olympiad, and I took this pawn and I ended up winning the game. And after that, I've just felt like, you know what? Just go and play this opening against me. I love playing it. So Levy captured back, and she played bishop g5, which is the main move. Now she's pinning this knight, the knight cannot move, and she's developing her bishop at the same time. Levy continued just insta-playing the moves, and he went bishop e6. And my mom spent a few minutes thinking here, but ultimately chose to play e3 to develop her light-squared bishop. Now, Levy here decided to bring out his knight. It's one of the last pieces he has to develop. It's the knight and the bishop, so it makes sense to develop his knight. And now my mom went bishop d3, simply developing the bishop and putting it on its most optimal square. Now here Levy did a move which may look like a little move. He went h6, but this move actually had a lot of poison behind it because he was planning a little trap. And this was something that I wasn't realizing at all at this point, but my co-commentator, International Master Alex Ostrovsky, he could smell that Levy might play something that is a little bit tricky. And this was the start of it. So he played h6, threatening my mom's bishop, and well, she wants to keep the pin. She's not going to give the bishop for the knight for nothing. So she went bishop h4, keeping the pin. And now he did this move, which is quite unusual in this position. But he went g5, threatening the bishop. And this is a move that my mom hasn't really seen a lot of times in this exact position. So my mom was a little bit confused. So she went bishop g3, and now Levy instantly played knight h5, and this was all preparation, and he was now posing a very difficult question to my mom, which was, where is this bishop going to go, and how are you going to continue this game? You see, in this position, a psychological battle started between Levy and my mom, because my mom realized that, okay, I don't really necessarily want to allow Gotham to just, you know, let's say that she does something random, to just take this bishop, and then whenever she castles, her king is going to get a little bit weak because these pawns might be able to start marching down, and then maybe Levy's going to castle queenside and you could get slightly uncomfortable. So she didn't love that. So she thought, okay, she spent like 10 minutes thinking because she was surprised, and she thought, okay, objectively, the best move here should be for me to go bishop e5, because if my bishop is over here, then if now Levy would capture it, she can just simply take with the knight, and now she gets a fantastic knight, and this is just going to be a really strong knight forever because Levy can never play f6, as these pawns would get, or these squares would get very weak. So she played bishop e5. And then she started thinking, I mean, is Levy gonna go back? And she couldn't believe it, but Levy went knight f6. And so she thought, wait a second, are we gonna start repeating moves? Because she realized that her bishop on e5 isn't so well placed. Levy's threatening right now to go g4, threatening the knight, forcing the knight to move, and then to capture this bishop with his knight and forcing her to capture with the pawn. And she didn't want to have this position where she captures with the pawn. So she didn't like keeping the bishop here, and the only other square she can go to is g3. She was thinking, okay, should I go h3? But she really didn't like this because she thought that after takes and takes, after Levy goes knight d7, this pawn is going to be really weak forever, and the bishop is going to come up to g7, and it's going to be hard to defend this pawn. So she didn't like this. So she thought, okay, I have to go bishop g3, but then Levy played knight h5 instantly. And so my mom was kind of thinking that there is no way that Levy wants a draw, because to begin with, I mean, yesterday they were talking about it, and like my mom said that she doesn't want to have any quick draw at any point because she wants to fight and play out all the games. Because they were talking about the Sophia rule, like, are you allowed to draw in the first 30 moves? And so my mom just said that she doesn't want to she doesn't want to draw quickly at any point. She wants to fight in all of these games. So she was very confused because she thought there's no way that Levy wants to draw quickly because that's going to be bad content. And Levy's a content creator. So she just here was in complete denial of the fact that if she went back and went to the most optimal square for the bishop, which is e5, she just really truly did not think that he was going to repeat moves. Which maybe doesn't make sense because, like, here the absolute best thing he can do is to repeat moves. But she was just in such denial of it that she played bishop e5 one extra time. And after knight f6, when she realized that, wait, he actually wants a draw, it was too late because the bishop is now on e5. And she was really upset at this point because she realized that she doesn't want to leave the bishop on e5 because then we're going to have all these issues that I talked about with the pawn pushing. But if the bishop goes back to g3, Levy can play knight h5 and claim a draw. And so she was really unhappy because she didn't want this to become a draw, and she truly didn't realize that it was going to become a draw until Levy repeated one more time. And yeah, it was just like a weird psychological battle because I think Levy, he was probably upset about losing the first game, and so he was quite happy with the draw here, especially with the black pieces. But my mom just didn't think that he would want a quick draw, so she just always was sure that he was going to change moves, and she didn't want to be the first one to do it. And then now it was almost too late. So here she ended up playing bishop g3, but she played it without claiming a draw. If she would, you know, really want a draw, she would play bishop g3 and claim a draw. But she played bishop g3, and she was hoping here that Levy would not play knight h5 because she actually told me after the game that if he didn't claim a draw here, she would actually change. She would, after knight h5, play queen c2 if Levy played it without claiming a draw. Because now she truly realized that this was going to become a draw otherwise. But in this position, Levy, before playing knight h5, claimed the draw by telling the arbiter, if I play knight h5, we've had the same position 3 times, and then there's going to be a draw. So the game ended up becoming a draw, and I think that in a way, maybe both players were upset about it because it ended up being such a short game. But I do think that Levy's quite happy with the result. And he did specifically say that he was happy with the result. He has the black pieces, and he was able to draw Pia, and he was feeling like, yeah, he wasn't feeling so great after the first loss. So he was quite happy with the result, he said. So I think definitely my mom is the one that is less happy. Not because she's unhappy with the result in itself, but she told me that she felt very empty after playing such a short game. And she loves playing long games. Like, she's known for playing very long games. And it felt really weird to play a game where there was no fight involved. And so she felt a bit strange after this, and she was sad that she hadn't changed before. And she was sad that she hadn't realized that this was going to be a draw if she didn't change before. So yeah, she was feeling a bit upset after the game, but she's now just looking forward to the next games, and I'm sure that we're going to be seeing 20 more fighting games in this match. So yeah, it's what happens sometimes. You know what they say, perfect chess ends in a draw, although I prefer non-perfect chess that doesn't end in a draw. But that is how chess is sometimes. And tomorrow we're going to be having round 3. and I'm sure that it's going to be a very exciting game. So I'm just excited for the match to continue, for the games to keep going. And yeah, let me know in the comments who you're rooting for in this match. Is it Pia? Is it Levy? Is it Pia? Please, let it be Pia. But if it's Levy, it's fine as well. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video. And I will see you at round 3 of this tournament.